Hey everybody, welcome back to another ST3D video. Like always, I'm BJ. Today we're going to be talking about this beautiful printer here, the Geetech E180, or some people like to call it the Geetech. This is basically a desktop printer, comes pre-assembled, ready to go, and I think you might be impressed with this after this review is done. So let's not waste any time and jump right into the review. Alright, so this is the box that it comes in, guys. When you open it, you're greeted with the quick start menu guide. Once you take it out of the box, you can see it's actually very well packaged, surprisingly. Everything is like fit perfectly on there. So let's take a look what's inside. Let's start with the power cord that you see here. A little bit of filament to get you started. Next, we have the stand for the spool holder. It comes in 3 little pieces that you can put together. Very easy, not that hard to do. Next, we got USB to connect to cable, the SD card, and an extra nozzle that comes with it, which is pretty cool. Those are the screws you're going to be using to build the spool holder. These are the necessary tools that you will need. In this big block right here is the power cord. The power regulator that you can plug in and get started. Now once everything's done, you just take the top foam off, and there is the printer itself. And I gotta admit, that thing is pretty nice looking there, guys. And the last thing that this printer comes with is an extra piece of blue tape that you can put on the bed. Alright, so this is what it looks like when you take it out of the box. As you can see, it has a nice little slick design to it. The cool thing about this printer is that it does not require any assembly at all, zero. So this is what it looks like when you take it out of the box. Now I've already cheated and done a few prints, as you can tell by the tape, condition of the tape, but I just couldn't help myself, so I wanted to see how this printer would work out. But it's good I did, because I learned a few things about it that I wouldn't have if I would have just started the review video and not experienced what the printer actually has to offer. The first thing I want to point out about this printer is that it is a Bowden type extruder, as you can see, and from the back you can actually see the assembly and everything there. Okay. Also, the plugs to the printer, if you notice right down here, you got your power, your USB to connect it to your computer, and the memory card slot right there. Now on this one, guys, I would recommend actually buying a extension for the micro SD, because when you slide this in there, it's really hard to get it out. So if you notice, once I put it in, it's almost flush. So we wanna avoid that part right there. So go ahead and pick yourself up a extension cable for the micro SD and go from there. Okay. So here's the Bowden tube itself. So you feed the filament through here, and it comes through, and then it comes out through the nozzle right there. Okay. One thing I need to point out to you guys is there's 2 ways of loading the filament. And I will show you both ways. One is manual. If you notice this little black tab right here, if you pull this back, you can actually manually load it. Or there's a feature on the printer once you turn it on to where it does it automatically. But to give you a better view of, or idea of what I'm talking about, this is what it looks like behind the feeder itself. So if you pull this way, you can manually feed it through, or once you put the filament through, it will do it on its own. So I'm going to leave this cap off just for this demonstration purpose, and then we can continue from there. Okay. Next, we're going to go over how to remove the nozzle. Alright, so if you notice right there, you got the cooling duct. This is what cools down your prints. There's your actual nozzle itself. And to change the nozzle out, because it does come with an extra one, you will see that little piece right there, and all you do is slide it away, and this thing pulls right out like so. So that's what the nozzle itself entitles. It's a snap-on, very easy. They give you an extra part for it, or an extra nozzle, so you can pop this in place when you need to. So that's how you remove the nozzle. And then to put the nozzle back, you just pop it into place and hit that little lever that I showed you, and you're good to go. Okay, little fun fact about this nozzle right here, guys. It is a 0.4 mm. It's very easy to insert and remove, like I said earlier. Another thing that they had put in the specifications is that the maximum temperature they recommend that you take this nozzle to is 230. Do not exceed that temperature. For some reason it might mess up something inside. I haven't gone past this, so I really couldn't tell you what happens, but I am not looking forward to breaking it, so I'm just gonna heed their warning and not go past 230. So that's basically just some basic information about the nozzle that you might need to know about. Alright, a few other fun facts about this printer is, one, it has a print surface of 130 by 130 by 130. Okay. Also, it comes with a 3.2 LCD screen, which is a touch screen, by the way. Also, the people who made this printer claim that you're supposed to be able to get smoother prints at a faster travel speed. So we'll go ahead and put that to the test. Also, it has built-in Wi-Fi, so you can actually log into your network and print remotely through their app, which is a cloud-based called Easy Print 3D app. I tried downloading that, but I didn't use that app because it asks you for like a million personal questions. So I just didn't feel too comfortable with that, so I just left it, and I'm doing it with the micro SD card. Okay. Another cool feature this printer has is something called break resuming feature, which basically just means that if your power was to shut off or you had a power surge or something along those lines, when the power came back on, there would actually be a resume button right there, which we will go over later, and your print will continue from where it left off. So that is a pretty cool feature to have in this little tiny printer here. So but that's basically the features of the printer itself. So let's go ahead and get it started and see what we can do from there. Alright, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and plug in your power adapter right there. Okay, after that, there's the power button right there. And from here, you're ready to go. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and level the bed itself. Now, this is actually very easy to do on this little printer here. It has bed leveling assist for you. So you want to go to Control and then go to Leveling. It has 5 points that you can go to. Okay, so we're going to go to start with position 1. Okay, one small thing I did forget to mention, guys. Notice when I hit, let's say I go to 5, it's thinking that this is where the 5th point is. And the reason that happened is before you do anything, you need to go and hit home. So let's go ahead and hit the home button here, and everything's good to go. Go to leveling. Then we're going to press position 1. Now you can eyeball this if you want, or we can do it the old school way with the paper. So I decided I'm not going to eyeball this for the people that aren't too familiar with it. So I went and grabbed a piece of paper, and I'm going to show you how to level it using the auto level assist. So again, you're going to go and press number 1. That's the back right corner. Now if you notice, the paper moves pretty easily. There's no drag to it whatsoever. Now there's 2 options here. There is a 0.05 millimeter adjustment and a 0.5 millimeter adjustment. So basically when you press this Z up or down, it's gonna go in height according to what you pick. So on this one, I'm fairly close, so I'm gonna pick that. I guess I needed to go to the 5. Drop a little bit more, and there it is. It's a little too much. And there you go. And then it's gonna go to number 2. Okay, there it is. And again, it's a little too tight. There it is, and then you just hit the OK button right there, and then go to number 3. There it is, and then you hit OK. So I'm going to switch to the 0.5 so it drops a little bit faster. And there it is. And you hit OK again, and it's supposed to memorize the leveling that you just did. And you just repeat the step with number 5. It's a little tight, so I'll probably get that done. But excuse me. This is the problem I ran into, guys. When I did the auto assist leveling here, right, and I have adjusted everything, if you notice, technically what they say is it's supposed to save your settings. So when I go to level, when I go to 1, if you notice, it's still at 128.95. Now I go to 2, it's still at 128.95. Now if I, in my head, if I adjusted this already, then each point should be different, correct? But it's not. It's all the same. Therefore now I still have gaps all the way around. If you notice, I can't even get the paper in here. So let's try 3. See, now my paper is tight. I can't even pull it. So I leveled this thing in the beginning for like, geez, I don't know, like 15-20 minutes, and I kept getting the same runaround, you know. So when I would go to position 1 and I would lower it to adjust it, and let's say it came down to 130, when I moved it over here, I would have to go to say 133, and I had to come over here for it to be at like 132. But when I would move from here to here, it would be the same. It wouldn't save it. So I just got frustrated, and what I ended up doing, now it's not necessary to undo the screws like you would like on the Creality or some of the other manual type printers. Okay, that leveling feature there should do it for you automatically, but for me it didn't. I don't know why. Maybe it's a glitch or I'm doing something wrong. I really don't know. But what I did is I went old school. I ripped the tapes off on all four corners, just took a little Allen key to it, and I manually adjusted the bed. Not supposed to do that, I don't know, but I did it, and guess what? My prints after that started coming out fine. In the beginning I was having issues. If you see right here, started ripping into the tape because I thought I had it leveled and it wasn't leveled. So I did it the old school way. I just put a little screw in there and I turned it, and then I moved the nozzle from one position to all 5 positions until I got it right. So that's an issue I had, but I fixed it by doing it my way. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas about what I'm doing wrong. If you want, leave it in the comments below and then I'll address it, but this is the way I did it. I know some other people have ran into the same problem that I've seen online, but most of the videos that do the leveling, right after they just go right into the print, and apparently everything worked for them. So, and I'm doing exactly what they did, but it's not saving my settings. So with that said, let's go on to the next part, which would be how to load filament. Alright, so the first thing you want to do before you can load your filament is, if you notice the screen right here, it's filament. Click on it. Make sure you check this on, okay? Once you do that, it has a default of 200, which it's gonna randomly cycle up to. And one good thing I like about this little tiny printer is that it heats up super fast. So once this thing heats up, we'll go ahead and load the filament. Now, like I said, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is manual, the other one you can actually do it from this screen. So you have this button here. If you push that and feed the filament through the back, it will actually feed it all the way out through the extruder, which we will see. Or option 2, like I said, is you can pull this little lever and feed it in manually. Now, if you guys are wondering throughout the video why I didn't use the stand that it came with, I was able to get this part on, but my holes weren't lining up. And also at the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, it's not very flat. It's actually bubbled right there, to where when I put it on, the screw size wouldn't catch. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up some screws from the hardware store tomorrow to get that done. But in the meantime, got a little makeshift stand. For those of you that don't have one, you just take your box that your filament came in, you put a pen on one side, feed it through, and just carve a little notch that sits on it, and it actually works pretty damn well. So I'm going to be using that today for the video. Alright, so I'm going to manually feed the wire first, but before I do that, guys, it's very important that you cut this at the right angle, which is a 45-degree angle, because otherwise it'll get stuck. So I'm going to feed this through, and like I said, I'm going to pull this and let it go all the way, but not completely all the way through, because the auto feature part here, the auto feed, it takes forever, and I'll show you what I mean. So I got my, you have to turn up the temperature a little bit more. Okay. Got it at 209. Already there. I'm just going to press this button here. And as you can see, it's going through, but at a very slow pace. And this is the old filament that I had in there. That's coming out right now. And there you go, it's coming out already, and then all you do is just hit the pause or stop button and you're all set, and that's how you load the filament. Alright, so once you have your filament loaded and you want to get started on the print, you just got to insert the SD card or connect it to your computer through the USB like I showed you earlier, or I showed you where the slots were earlier. So we're going to head back, go to the main screen here one more time, and then you're going to hit print, and then the SD card should bring up all the prints that you have. And all you gotta do is click one and you'll see a little check mark at the top, and then just hit print. And now it's gonna heat up, and since I already had it preheated, it's ready to go. And I gotta admit, guys, this printer is actually pretty quiet when it's doing the print. So once I get done, I will show you what it came out to be. Alright, now that we got the printer started, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how the break resume feature works. So I'm just gonna, right here, turn off the printer, turn it back on, and you'll notice it says printing paused. You just hit play. And what it does is it goes back to the top for some reason. Why, I don't know. And this is probably the noisiest part. But besides that, it goes auto homes, comes right back down, and continues the print. That's it. So it's pretty cool. I like that little feature on this machine. So let's see how it does through a couple minutes of printing, and then we'll talk more about this printer. Alright guys, so in conclusion, I would say this is actually a pretty neat little printer if you're just looking for something that's ready to go, you don't want to put it together. The print qualities on it comes out pretty decent. You can print at higher speeds and you don't lose much quality on that as well, so what they're advertising is correct on that part. My only issues, like I said earlier, I had with it was my spool holder wasn't able to be put together well because of the defects in the metal itself. Also, the leveling, I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong, but it wouldn't save the positions for me when I started to print, so I had to do it manually. Besides that, for the size that it is, it comes with a lot of gadgets. I mean, the auto load feature on the filament, and how easy it is to change the nozzle out, and also it is a boat and tube type printer, which is pretty good, and the touchscreen makes it very easy to use. The Wi-Fi built-in is great. The app was the other thing that I had an issue with. But besides all that, and once I got all that situated and taken care of, my prints came out pretty good. Very quiet machine, ready to go. Very elegant design. So, you know, if you want to put it like in your house as a decoration, or take it to the office so you can print smaller parts, it's great. I mean, if you're looking for one that's ready to go, I would definitely recommend this one. But in my opinion, spending that much money is justified because of all the bells and whistles that comes with it. And I believe this is around $250 right now, US dollars, or 180 euros if I'm not mistaken. Me personally, I would rather just spend like an additional 60 to 80 bucks and maybe step it up to the Creality CR10. Of course, it doesn't have that many bells and whistles on it like this one does, but you get a way bigger printing surface. The quality you get the same, if not better. So that is something for you to decide. But me personally, if I was looking for something like this, this is amazing. It works great. But if you're looking to maybe see your options, you're not sure which way you want to go, I would just spend the little extra and go with the bigger machine. Personally, not as many features, but you won't be limited to what you could print. So with that said, I'll put a link to this down below, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down below as well. If you found this helpful, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe if you want. It's really up to you. And that's basically it. That's my review on the E180. I hope it was helpful. I hope I went over some of the features that might have helped you out on how to use the printer itself. Again, great printer for the money because of all the features, but eventually comes down to what you're looking for and what suits you best. So with that said, guys, like always, good luck and happy printing.